All right, they're looking for another mic. In the meantime, I'm just gonna tell you, I am known as the Boss Gomez, not because I think that I am the best, I might be, but because, as he was told to you only a few minutes ago, I came to this country undocumented. I stuttered, I didn't know the language, and I found my voice. And in Spanish, when you say boss, voice, the word voice in Spanish sounds as boss, almost as the same word as like somebody who's the boss. So when they first called me the boss because I have one slam, yeah, I am the boss because I found my voice. And also because in Guatemala, we all call each other boss. So it worked really well. But in all honesty, the boss in my household is my wife. I mean, it's my third marriage, so I finally learned, right? I was standing online at the movie theater, and I told my wife, I am so excited about this movie. Is this the movie where Spider-Man fights Batman? She asked. I immediately thought about getting a divorce. I mean, she was mixing two universes together that had nothing to do with it. But I understand that she was there not because she wanted to see a Spider-Man movie, but because she wanted to be there because I wanted to see the movie. So I started to explain her all about the multiverse and everything that was about the multiverse and about the Spider-Man movie that I knew about. But I could tell after a few seconds that she really didn't care about the multiverse at all. She was just there because she was trying to support me. You see, we come from different universes. I was born and raised in Guatemala, and I love comic books. My wife was born and raised in Chicago. She doesn't like comic books. She's white, but nobody's perfect. But she was there to support me. So we stay online to watch the movie. As I was standing online thinking about the movie, I started to remember why I love comic books so much. You see, when I was a little kid in Guatemala, my father used to buy the newspaper on Sundays, and I was not allowed to mess with his paper. But there was one part of the newspaper that he didn't like. That part was the Sunday comic strips. He thought they were childish, he thought they were dumb, so he immediately took them out of the newspaper. And as soon as he did that, I will grab them and take them to my bed so I could read those comic books. Reading the comic books was amazing to me. I loved the characters. I loved the stories. I loved the drama. I loved the humor. I felt connected to those stories. Sadly, Guatemala was going through a very bad financial and political crisis, and soon there was no money for food, and there was definitely no money for Sunday newspapers. My parents saw no other choice but to emigrate to this country, and we all came to this country undocumented. So at 15 years old, I found myself at a high school where I didn't know anybody. I had left everything and everything that I knew behind. I felt disconnected from everything and from everyone. I sat in the classroom for my English class, surrounded by a bunch of immigrant kids like myself on an ESL class, and the English teacher told us, this is going to be your homework. You need to translate these pages. She started to pass around the Sunday comic strips. My classmates thought that they were kid homework stuff for kids. I was in love. I took my English, Spanish dictionary, and armed with my dictionary, I went home to translate those comic books. The comic books from the Sunday newspaper were the first stories that I was able to read in English. And for the rest of my life, I have been in love with comic books and with reading. I fell in love with all the stories about Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, and when I found out about comic book stores, they became my favorite place in the whole world. And when I found out about pre-comic book day, that was like a holiday to me. Not only were there comic books available, but they were free. Free. Did I say they were free? It was like a holiday to me. It was amazing. But then I started to realize that there was a common thing about all these stories that I was reading on the comic books, the news that I was watching on TV, the stories that I saw on TV. And it was that all the good people, all the heroes, all the good doers were people that didn't sound or look like me. And all the people that were evildoers, that were criminals, that were villains, were people that were either people of color or immigrants. And I started to dislike all the stories that I was reading because of that. I still like comic books, but I didn't go to the comic book store as much. I still went to Free Comic Book Day because, well, it was free. And it wasn't until the day that I heard about a movie that was coming out that I started to get curious about comic books again. This movie was the Black Panther movie. All I had to tell you about the Black Panther movie is Wakanda Forever. If you know, you know. So surprisingly, a couple of months after the Black Panther movie came out, I heard about the new Spider-Man movie, an animated film feature of Spider-Man, and it was going to be a Latino character. So of course, I wanted to see the movie. I was online with my wife waiting for the movie, and my wife asked me, so you know what this cartoon is about? It's not a cartoon, I say. It's an animated film feature. She rolled her eyes. Yes, the animated film feature. You know what this is about? It's about Spider-Man, a Latino Spider-Man. Is that all you know? This time I roll my eyes. That's all I needed to know. It's a Latino Spider-Man. But secretly, I was a little bit concerned. Was this going to be a Spider-Man that couldn't speak English properly? It was going to be a Spider-Man that was a criminal? What kind of Spider-Man was going to be? What kind of Latino representation I was going to see? Was it going to be another representation of the one that I didn't like or I saw often portrayed on TVs and movies? I sat at the movie theater, and all that I need to tell you about this movie is that I cried from beginning to end. This was not a movie about a superhero. This was a movie about un superhéroe. This was a movie about Spider-Man mother telling him, quédate en la escuela and stay in school. This was a movie about Spider-Man father apologizing porque no se entienden bien because they don't communicate with one another properly. This was a movie about the song of immigrants. It was a movie about my culture, about my people, about my music. It was a movie that I could see myself represented in a good way. I cried from beginning to end of the movie. And after the movie ended, I fell in love once again with comic book stories. But not so much because of the graphics and the stories. I fell in love with it because now I finally could see myself represented on the stories, and I could see myself as the hero of the story. Thank you.